August 15th, 2020, I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent. People of India and to Indian Americans all across the United States, I want to wish you a happy Indian Independence Day.
All right, what it do is the history, man. Come on in and check this out, man. Let me go ahead and give you my interpretation of what I think some people are saying and what I am personally saying when I post videos stating that that lady is not black. See, what you guys don't understand is this. When you speak about somebody being black and you are a black American, we're the only ones who really describe ourselves as being black. Everybody else with ties, ancestral ties to the darker culture they have homelands. So you have Jamaicans, you have Africans. They don't claim to be black Africans, they claim to be African because that's their homeland. But us in America, since we really don't believe that America is our land in essence, when it actually is, we call ourselves black and left it at that. That's how we described ourselves. So when you talk about somebody who is not identifying as a black American, then we say that they're not black. Yes, we have ancestral ties to the darker nation. All of us do. We all got ancestral ties. But this is a cultural thing. This is a cultural thing. So when you say she's not black, coming from a person like me, I'm speaking of a cultural thing. And I mean that to say this. You don't see Jamaicans or Africans or anyone of any type of black descent really aligning themselves with black Americans. They separate themselves from us. So, and the reason being is because their culture is different from us. Their culture is different from our culture. We're not talking about ancestral ties. We're talking about our cultures. And a lot of cultures, black cultures outside of the United States, they have little respect for black Americans because of the things we've been through. Simple and plain, and the things that we have not stood up for. So when you see Kamala Harris thanking the Asian community, when you see Kamala Harris in her pictures as a child in her home, and she's raised up under an Indian culture, she's identifying with her culture. So when she says, oh, I'm not going to do anything specifically for blacks, she is telling y'all the truth. Because blacks in her mind are American blacks. She doesn't identify as an American black. Just because she has ancestral ties to us, she is not from our culture. That's why we can say that she is not black. You can have somebody white who has grown up amongst black people and will be considered more accepted than her who grew up outside of the culture. Just because she threw on some bamboo earrings and she hopped on some Black Peter at one point or another doesn't make her black to the culture. She wasn't raised to the culture, from our culture. She was raised up under a whole different culture. And let me give y'all an example for you guys that don't understand this. When I used to be in the pen was divided by gangs, divided by cultures. Dig what I'm saying? And so you had what was considered Mexican Americans, which was self-describing. The ones who were born here, raised here. And then you had what we call paisas. Paisas is another word for cousin, which are the actual Mexican nationals. The ones who was raised in Mexico, who later came over here. Guess what? In the prisons in California, they were separate. And at sometimes they even beefed with each other. I was in a prison called Centinela. And they had what was called, we call them cards. Cards mean you got the black card, you got the Mexican card, you got the white card. Then it's broke down into subdivisions of the gangs and this, that, and nothing. Well, the Paisas had their own card, separate from what was considered the South Sider card, which was the Southern American Mexicans. And they broke away from each other because, to my understanding and what I was told out of some of their mouths, was the nationals, the Mexicans who was born in Mexico, they did not believe that these dudes, the Mexican Americans, were part of their culture. They said because they had no idea what their real culture was. They spoke broken Spanish, which means they mixed their Spanish with American words. And for them, that was unacceptable because they like, man, y'all don't even know y'all history. Y'all caught up over here in these folks' land, and your culture is their culture. It's not ours. So that's what I'm trying to show you, the separation in the two and the way people think. So yeah, when you hear me say something like, she's not black, she ain't black because she ain't from my culture. She was raised up under the Indian culture and her father's Jamaican culture. And we all know right now that they don't even talk. So she might not even got that part of it. But yes, if you step outside of American borders, a lot of ancient black ties that we have to other countries, they really don't respect us, they don't accept us, and they differentiate from the two. They don't claim us as theirs because basically at the end of the day, we come up under two different cultures. You know what I'm saying? Everybody breaks down into subdivisions. And so no, when you look at it like that, maybe you can understand when people say she's not black. So you posting a picture of her Jamaican father and whatnot, that don't mean shit to people who understand the actual technicalities of what we're talking about. The wording is real. She gave thanks to her Pacific Asian culture. She gave thanks to them. She didn't give thanks to black Americans. That's why when she told you she's not doing nothing for blacks, she meant black Americans. And she has proved throughout her history in politics that she don't give a damn about us. So, under the great words of Mr. Kendrick Lamar, she's not like us. It hits them up out of here.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.